excited for another opportunity to get better. I'll answer any questions that I can.
Anything jump out watching the film of the game on Saturday?
A lot of guys playing. Obviously, extended amount of plays early in the preseason, which is uncommon. The heat, was a challenge. Was a challenge also for a lot of these players, but plenty of errors, plenty of things to clean up. There were some really good individual efforts. I thought Calhoun played well on defense. He did again have a couple penalties that got to be eliminated. Offensively, the first half was not good, but I did think we got some things going in the second half, and some guys played themselves into contention. Some guys didn't.
James Kaiser, one of those guys. What have you seen from him these first two games?
Well, he's just showcased his versatility, really. He's been playing inside linebacker, been rushing a passer as a defensive end, and contributing on special teams, and he's been playing through, some nicks and beat up body. I give him a lot of credit. He's our kind of guy, and he's played himself into position to make this team.
How much game planning, if any, do you do this week? Some coaches go through a mock game plan. Do you do any of that, or is it
Not a lot. I mean, we're going to look at Green Bay and try and put our team on a Wednesday schedule during the regular season. This is not going to be exactly how it's going to be because we've got 90 men on our roster still, but we did show them some Packer film this morning. We did have a walkthrough preparing ourselves for Green Bay, but it's not going to be a whole lot of intense game planning. But we will see the starters play a little bit this week, and we have looked at Green Bay a little bit, yes.
What has Jordy brought to the receiver room?
Well, he's been a playmaker on the field. He's been a consistent, reliable target at a couple positions, and he's been a real good influence behind the scenes. We've been really, really happy with his addition to this team, and hopefully someone can step up and clearly emerge as the third receiver.
Coach, what's it been like having Edgar Bennett in that same room, and what have you seen from your receivers and what they've learned from him so far?
Well, Edgar's a great coach. I coached Green Bay as a receiver coach in 1992 when Edgar was drafted out of Florida State. So I go way back with him. He's a great personality. He's a very good teacher, got a lot of energy, and I think our receivers have benefited from his coaching. And I think he would agree that we need somebody to step up in that room this week.
Of course, you benched a lot of key guys in that exhibition on Saturday. In the secondary, a lot of those key guys were playing. What was the design in terms of having your secondary in that game?
Well, we wanted to see a little bit of Conley, obviously. He hasn't had the pads on very much in the last year, so we got him 8 or 9 snaps. He'll get a little bit more this week. Just wanted to take a look at Melvin. He did some good things against the Lions. Again, just for a couple series, 8 to 10 snaps. I want to see a little bit more of Reggie Nelson. Needed his leadership back there. Gilchrist was still out. We had a lot of young guys playing, so we wanted to have Reggie back there calling the shots. And, we held Leon Hall, obviously, because we want to see some other guys play the nickel position.
In your estimation, where does the team stand at safety? You guys have been rotating a lot of guys in throughout this offseason.
Well, it's very competitive. I think Eric Harris has had a good camp. I think Marcus Gilchrist has been a good player. We haven't seen him. Hopefully we get him back out here today. Reggie Nelson, certainly, and Carl Joseph give us 4 guys that have been working in the rotation, but we haven't settled on anything yet.
John, are you sure what the new tackling rules are exactly and how they're enforced? It seems to be a lot of gray area in terms of interpretation by the players.
I have a pretty good idea. I think they're trying to eliminate the helmet, the crown of the helmet from football. They're trying to eliminate the unnecessary blind hits where I clearly I get a run at you, you don't see me, and I lower my helmet. And we're trying to take all those hits out of football, but we've been trying to take those hits out of football since I've been in the league. They don't want the runner lowering his helmet. They don't want the tackler lowering his helmet. That's been in football forever. And it's been a bad thing, but we're trying to emphasize it. I still think it's going to be a hard thing to call. You're running full speed. I don't know which way you're going. I'm running full speed at you, and I got to bring you down. And we're both getting paid to get our jobs done. So it's going to be tough on the officials, but I think we can clean up some of the vicious hits that are uncalled for.
It seems like there's been some calls in some of the preseason games where just incidental contact gets called. Do they need to maybe address it with a a replay or just some way where a guy
If
doesn't
we do
get-
any more replays, we're going to be out there for all night. We'll be out there all day and all night. I am, like I said before, I don't care if people don't agree with me. I do not like instant replay. I don't like it. I think the officials that are out on the field got a tough job, and they've done an excellent job, I think, as a unit, getting themselves ready to call the game. They study the opponents all week. They stand in their positions every week. I like letting them. Is it a catch? Is it a touchdown? Is it a fumble? Is it a legal hit or not? But I think if you keep challenging everything, pretty soon we're never going to play football. The game will last forever.
Has it affected coaching technique, the way you guys teach a little bit?
Well, no. I mean, we're trying to emphasize good technique at all times, and we are taking safety into account. We want our players to remain healthy and have the proper fundamentals when they play this game. So, yeah, we are emphasizing it. It has changed the way you coach a little bit. Changes the way you play, and you got to adapt.
You mentioned Gilchrist possibly being back today. Neil, what's the status of Seth Roberts, and is there any other guys you hope to get back this week?
Yeah, I think Seth will be back too. He'll practice today, and that's great for us. We need to get him out on the field, back in with our receivers. Gilchrist will practice today. That's a positive. I think Brandon Parker, although he played last week, is getting a little bit more healthy. So those three guys in particular. Jordan Simmons came back, got some snaps in the game. I think Worley will be back practicing today as well. So there's 5 healthy guys that got a chance to help our team.
For you guys, your outside receivers have the ability to play the slot. It gives you that versatility. What does that do for an offense?
Well, it does a lot. I think when you throw in Jared Cook, who is a joker that can play wide receiver, slot receiver, he can do a lot of things as a tight end. I think Carrier's got some of those qualities. You know, some of our running backs like Jalen Richard, DeAndre Washington can line up as a slot. You know, that's what you're looking for. You're looking to create matchups on a weekly basis, and the more positions you can play, the more you can do that.
Anything you're on take tonight?
There's another man. I'm not quite sure. I haven't seen Eddie yet. Rich Bisaccia and Eddie Pinero will answer that bell shortly. We'll see.
What do you need to see from one of those receivers to step up and be that third guy that you mentioned a couple of times, and who do you want to see that?
Well, more consistency. Honestly, Seth's been out for now 10 days, 10 days. Martavis has been in and out of here. You know, it's been tough. I think just someone to come out here and string 4 or 5 really good days together and showcase their stuff, make some plays with and without the ball.
You brought up Jalen as a receiver just a second ago. What is having a back like he again who can catch the ball at the backfield? What does that do for an offense?
It does a lot. I mean, if you watch New England play the last couple of years, they've been using White, Rex Burkhead, Deion Lewis to tell the quarterback what the coverage is. You put a linebacker out there in space, if a running back out in space, if the linebacker's covering them, if the safety's covering, they know it's man-to-man. So they're satellites. They go out there and they can help the quarterback determine man or zone, and they can win, and they can run an array of routes. And we're going to continue to try to get Jalen Richard and DeAndre Washington more and more on their plate.
Obi exited a couple weeks ago. I know it's been an evaluation to see where he is. Do you have a sense in that outlook?
No, I don't. He's still being evaluated.
Chris Warren told us, I think it was last week at training camp, that running violently is not something that necessarily comes natural to him, but he thinks he's hoping to get the hang of it more. Sean's been talking to him. Are you seeing more and more of that, his willingness to really burrow in and get that last couple yards?
Yeah, I think he's running behind his pads better. I think he really picked that up in the scrimmages against the Lions. He made some great runs in those 2 practices. I'm not really as worried about him as a ball carrier as I am. What kind of back is he without the ball? Picking up blitzes, handling the audibles. He's still got to grow a lot as a running back, but as a runner, he's learning how to run behind his pads and be physical.
You didn't see anything out of Doug Martin in this 6th game, or not really?
I've seen a lot out of Doug since he's been here. You know, I think Marshawn has 1 carry. I think Lynch has 1 carry. I think if you'd have told me that Chris Warren would be my leading rusher and Paul Butler would be our leading receiver at this time, I would say that's crazy. That's unbelievable. But we don't really want to see those guys a whole lot, to answer your question. We've seen a lot of them.
You mentioned the importance of having leaders in different rooms. What has Tyre Whitehead helped?
Yeah, he's been great. He brings a lot of energy to our team, too. You know, he's upbeat, positive, competitive. You know, he wants to win in a walkthrough. He wants to win in practice. He wants to beat you at a game of cards on the airplane. He just brings a lot of energy, and he's a really good guy. He's a really good player. And when you're best players are your hardest workers and your most energetic people, it's a good thing. So he's brought us a lot.
Time for 2 more, guys.
From just a game plan, I suppose game plan standpoint, but it seemed like what you guys were able to do on offense from an audible standpoint. I think you mentioned as well just some of the things at the line of scrimmage or from the sideline, the hand signals that you guys were in. Just what was that like on Saturday in terms of facing a team that you're going to face again in a few weeks? Like how exactly did that impact things?
Not really much. You know, Sean and I at McVay talked before the game. They didn't do very much, and we didn't do very much. And you know, a lot of backup players played, and a lot of backup schemes were used. So I don't think a lot was gained by either team out of that game.